Today we celebrate the feast day of St. Andrew the Apostle, and I want to highlight a couple of details from his life and see if we can take some useful lessons for our own spiritual life. The first piece of information from his life is that before he was a disciple of Jesus, he was a disciple of John the Baptist. He was one of those two disciples who appear in the first chapters of John, that they were following John the Baptist. So first he followed John the Baptist and then he followed Jesus. And there's a beautiful itinerary in going from John the Baptist to Jesus, because what was the message of John the Baptist? Repentance. But what was the message of Jesus? Grace. The free love that we receive from God the Father. So, what's the insight here? That in a sense, we're all called to follow the same itinerary, from repentance to grace. In fact, the deeper our repentance and the deeper our humility, the more we can make space for grace. Andrew also had the privilege of being an evangelist, and he evangelized first his own brother. The first to announce the gospel to Peter was Andrew. And he was the first person to preach the good news to the first pope. And this is really beautiful because it means that Andrew was so excited, filled, joyful when he encountered Jesus that he could not keep the good news for himself. But he goes running to his brother and he says, "We have found the Messiah." So Andrew is also a great reminder that in our own life, we should also follow this pattern. We encounter Jesus, and our joy should be so overwhelming that we can't keep that joy to ourselves. So Andrew also reminds us that our preaching of the Lord should come from a place of overflowing of joy. Finally, Andrew obviously walks with Jesus during his public ministry, but Andrew is especially present in one of Jesus' great miracles, the multiplication of the loaves. So maybe you remember, but Andrew is the one in that passage that tells the Lord, "Lord, there is one there who has 5 breads and 2 fish." So what does Andrew teach us? That he knows that the Lord can do great things with small things. Andrew knew that even though it was very small what they had, Jesus could multiply what was given to bring out something much greater. And Andrew also did this with his own life. He was a fisherman, but he offered his 2 fish and his 5 pieces of bread to Jesus himself, and he was turned into a great apostle. Perhaps you knew this, perhaps you didn't, but Andrew is considered the founder of the Greek Orthodox Church. In the same way that normally we relate St. Thomas with the Syro-Malabar Church as the founder, St. Andrew is considered the founder of the Greek Orthodox Church. So Andrew teaches us also with his own life, or he reminds us that God can do great things with imperfect instruments. So today let's turn to St. Andrew with confidence and joy, and let us remember, number 1, he teaches us that we should go from repentance to grace. And the greater the repentance, the greater the grace. Second, he was the evangelist of Peter. This is a beautiful reminder that our own evangelization should come from the overflowing of joy of encountering the Lord. And finally, Andrew knows that Jesus can do great things with poor instruments. He was a fisherman. He became the founder of the Greek Orthodox Church. Let us be reminded that God can also do great things with us.